Welcome to the Foxy Property Chat podcast. Today is the 28th of June, 2022. My name is Cody. I am your host. And next to me, I have the co-business owners of Foxy Home Staging. Phoebe, how are you this morning?
Great.
Great.
Yes.
Jake?
Excellent.
And the future of Foxy Home Staging, Phoebe, is also here.
She's also good.
So far, being very quiet.
So today, it's been a while since we've done a podcast, guys. We're going to be aiming to do this type of podcast on a weekly basis.
Correct.
We're ambitious starting in school holidays, but so far so good. We'll see how we go. So today's podcast and the outline, we're going to have a main topic discussion for about 5 to 10 minutes. We're then going to have a bit of Q&A from mostly from our Instagram. I believe we got all of those questions, and then we'll finish with a bit of a fun round, an under and overrated segment. So let's start things off with our main topic, which is we're on customer service and the importance of trusting the people you recommend. Now, I'm just going to hand the floor over to you guys. Where do you want to kickstart this one?
Probably a bit of context, right? So the reason that this has come up in our kind of business at the moment is that we've recently had an experience where somebody that we recommended to a client of ours, so the client was after something that we generally don't provide as the home staging company. We recommended another company who we'd done work with, and generally we recommend them, and they let us down a little bit, or let the client down. But at the end of the day, the way that we think about it is that any recommendation we give, anybody who is doing work on our recommendation, they are a reflection of us, and so that poor experience on the client's part reflects poorly on us as well. So it's just kind of got us to thinking about the fact that a large portion of our business comes as a referral or a recommendation from real estate agents, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's just one of those things. When you're recommending somebody else, how they perform, it does reflect on you. And so, whenever we already believe this, I think, but this has made us think about it a bit more. That when an agent is recommending us to their vendors, we really have to treat that with a lot of importance, I guess. We can't just take that flippantly. Not that I don't think anybody necessarily would, but it is quite an important thing or a big deal for the agent to have our name as the one that they put forward.
So to extend on that, when I'm talking to an agent about us and talking about how we can help them and what service we can provide, it's all about being an extension of their brand. So we reflect the same values as they reflect, and I think that's what they really get out of our social media, because they can see what values are important to us. So for me, it's communication. It's having the empathy for the clients. It's if I say I'm going to do something, we're going to do it, and we're going to be there when we say we're going to be there, just like a real estate agent would. Anything else that the real estate agents might do differently, we'll back them up on that. That's why we only partner with agents who do business the same way that we do. So we're not going to let them down in that respect, and it's really disappointing when other suppliers don't understand that in the same respect that we do, because that, going forward, that relationship could hold so much stead, and you don't even, maybe not necessarily with us, but that vendor is now, I don't know the numbers. I should know the numbers, but a happy client will tell how many people about your service, but an unhappy client tells 10x of those people.
Lot more, yep.
So the impact of having an unhappy client, that's why it's so important to have positive touch points at every point. I just don't get it. Crazy.
Now, you mentioned that we do our best to get everything right, but when we don't get things right or we make a mistake, it's also how we react to
accountability.
Mistakes, right?
Be onto it, proactiveness and accountability, and just say sorry.
Mm-hmm. We've this is kind of a separate, but similar to what you're talking about. We're not perfect. We have our removalists
put a hole in the wall.
Yeah, our removalists are moving furniture through houses multiple times in a day, and there are mistakes that are made.
I've done a big one.
Well, I was on the other end of that, so
yeah, you led me into the wall.
Cody put a nice big hole in a wall with a glass coffee table top.
That was a long time
that was
ago.
The first couple of weeks too.
Yeah.
You're still here.
Yeah, that was not an easy fix either. We did have to get a handyman in for that one. But we've had a discussion about this in the team recently, that these things happen. We don't like them to happen, and we're not happy when they happen, but the worst thing that can happen is that somebody else, the client or the agent, finds out about it and brings it to our attention. So anytime that something like that happens, we just have to be proactive. We've got to be on the front foot with it, bring it up to them, tell them how we're going to fix it, what we're going to do to make it better. And the reality is we've actually found, again, you don't go looking to make mistakes. That's the last thing you want. But when we make mistakes and something goes wrong, often if you treat or you deal with that, in a, let's say, proactive way, a positive way, often the way that the client feels about you afterwards is actually better than it would have been if you'd just not made the mistake. Yeah. So it's actually an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, enough said on that for now?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Well, I was going to do a TikTok video on this, but you know what? I'm going to throw it in here. This is called the Brisbane's Hottest 5 Suburbs under, we'll say, $750,000. Now, this is from Finder's Property Investment Index in Brisbane.
Okay.
They rank every suburb on a criteria based on market demand, demographics, and price growth. Any guesses?
Under 750.
Under 750. Any guesses?
As the numbers go on the team, my first question is the hottest. What does that mean?
Well, on their index.
You want me to guess? I need to know this.
Well, I just explained it to you. It's based on their. It's based on their investment index, Finder's Property.
Okay.
So
I'll let it go.
Yeah, just go with it. Any rough guesses on some suburbs?
I've got no idea.
Well, it has to be further out.
There you go. That's a good place to start.
It's probably going to be north side, but we don't know any suburbs.
All right, let's just get into it.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's say Rockley.
Okay, so number 5 is Warner, which is on the north
Oh,
side.
that's where we are today. We're
There
in
you go.
Sully and Warner.
So they scored Jake, the numbers guy, 85 out of
85 on the
out of 100,
hotness index.
with the median house price of 680,000.
And that is a good 45 minutes from the city. So
Yeah.
it is ring.
Well, here's another one, Geebung, which is a little bit closer, a little bit on this side
But industrial.
of Warner, is it?
Yes.
The median price there is 740,000. Number 3,
What's the hotness index on that one?
80, actually also 85, so equal. Number 3, scoring an 86 hotness factor. Yamanto, which is out near Ipswich.
Yeah, that's a...
So we're
Is
including
that-
Ipswich, apparently.
Oh, that's not, I was going to say, that's not.
455,000 average, so
Okay.
a lower price point there. Number 2, also 86 out of 100, Tingalpa, which is over between sort of heading out Wynnum Way, Manly Way.
That's where Gabby lives.
There you go.
Fun fact.
our consult stylist for those listening at home.
Yes.
Yep. With a median house price of 700,000. And number 1, Fitzgibbon, which is
Also 45 minutes north of here.
yeah, north.
We installed there. Yes.
So in that sort of area. Oh, we installed there too.
North side, told you.
So number 1, and that's an 89 out of 100 on the hotness factor, Jason.
Interesting.
Index, wow.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of fun for you.
I'm going to have to
Things
research
you can
this
Google.
hotness index.
I'll send you a link. All right, so we're up to the Q&A section. The first one, now this could obviously be a bit of a longer episode in itself on a video, but Naomi S. Ritchie has asked how to tie in cushions, throws and art all together using colours. So Phoebe, that's
That's
probably...
definitely a Phoebe question.
Yeah, is
Do you
there
want
like
me-
a
Don't wanna have a
brief...
second.
Is there a brief way you can answer this?
Colour tones. So basically the girls will go for 3 different colour tones on a bed. We don't go for anything more than that. Definitely tie in your artwork to have the same colour tones. And yeah, don't go for things that clash too much. So bold colours should never be paired together. It's just too crazy. Too much to look at and will never photograph
What's a bold
well.
colour?
Red.
So red
Actually, I would
and...
never put red on a bed, but blue and yellow. Don't put blue and yellow like together.
I definitely
Especially don't do
would've
blue
done
yellow in another colour. Like that's too much, particularly in a photograph for realestate.com. If you love blue and yellow, go for it though. If it's for
What's
your
that,
home to live in, you can make it work.
What's that saying about, was it blue and green?
Blue and green. No, I'm against that. Blue and green should never be seen. But
Well, we
that's
do
not
that.
true.
We do that.
I disagree. I disagree with that. We do that. And we've been sent back to jobs to change it because of that quote. Interestingly enough.
There you go. Haven 5 Home Staging and Perth Stage to Sell, they both ask the same question. Where do you get your foldable bed frames from? Can't find any. They particularly after the double size anyway.
They did sell out.
Okay.
We've got a couple of suppliers, both through Amazon, right?
Yeah,
But-
both.
Yeah.
So we've got Artis is one supplier, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head.
Starts with a Z.
Zionist?
Yeah, Zionist.
Zionist
Yeah,
or
you're right.
Zionist?
So Artis is actually the better ones that the team like because they just clip on the sides, whereas the Zionist ones you actually have to
Take
get
the
all
wing
the
up,
way
all the way
off.
off.
It's just
Yeah.
a bit like it takes
Little bit
a whole
longer.
extra minute,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But they sold out for a while
they
there.
did, but they're back in stock.
They're back now, yeah.
Okay, so, and again, you get them on Amazon.
Yep.
What's the delivery on those? Just Amazon.
Delivery's
good,
free.
Aren't they? Oh, yeah, free, but also
3 to 5
time-wise.
days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
pretty
pretty
quick.
quick, really.
Oh, I think Perth might be different, but
Okay, yeah.
for us it's only
Perth
3 to 5
Stage,
days.
yeah.
Yeah.
Inner Spirit.
Because they're based in Brisbane. They're in Oxley, both
are
of those
they?
suppliers.
There you
Yeah,
go.
so that's in our favour.
Yeah, that is in our favour.
Yep.
Inner Spirit Property Styling Stylist training module. We've had this question in the past. We're going to probably do an episode on this. But how did you create this, and is it beneficial?
It is incredibly beneficial. So everything that I used to do in the business before I had staff come through was a bit vague, but wishy-washy, something Jake would say to me, not that we ever looked to sell the business, but we need to have processes and everything in place for it to be valuable. And the knowledge can't all be in my head. And I can't be holding people up just because it's in my head. So we got it into a training guide, and that has provided the structure for the girls. So now that when they come, well, that's very sexist, for the stylists, for when they come,
who are all girls.
Who are all girls. For when they come on board, they know exactly what the first 6 months of working at Foxy is going to look like, how they're going to get to the same level of other stylists who have been working here for a long time. It's allowed us to have a structure as far as a pay structure is concerned, because there is no pay structure in our industry. And yeah, it's just, I think it's that structure.
It just gives them the progress too. Like you can look through the different modules within it, and you know what the next phase is, kind of ramping up in terms of difficulty. And
in that module, I've gone into the depths of trying to make sure that they understand the importance of the target audience, what suburbs we're looking at, where I would do a media space versus a formal living space, why it's important to use all the rules that I've got. So you've heard them all before, not having the back of the sofa from the front door, not having the TV visible from the front door.
Don't have a bed head across a window.
Have a bed head across a window.
See, I listen.
Don't walk into the back of a chair. You want the X, not the cross.
Yeah, the dining chair, that's correct. So all of those rules, they're all laid out in there. So they basically have the progression all the way through, understanding the cost analysis behind everything, like why we won't send all high-end things to a more of a budget level job, all that sort of thing. It's all in there.
And in terms of how that's creative, you put that together, Phoebe.
Yeah, I wrote the whole thing.
You kind of went...
Your name's on there too.
My name's on there. I don't think I have much input, but...
You proofread.
But the whole point of or how you wrote it, though, was just you kind of brain dumping in terms of how you... Or what it was basically writing down what you already did in terms of your training. Like there's already a progression, and you know this is where you want stylists to start and what they want, what you want them to focus on, and here's the next set of things once they got through it. So you just wrote all that down.
Yep.
Now, in terms of... We share a lot at Foxy, but that's something that's sort of you're not willing to send to people, right?
Yeah, so I've held on to that one more because it's related to us. So everybody has different things that they need to consider for their market and for the way that their business, their model works. So the way that we have our guys going out doing the training is not going to be the same for every single styling company. Not every styling company has the girls doing absolutely everything. So for us, they do the full selections. They're less involved with the furniture selections, but they do everything, and then they go and install it, and then they'll be involved in the pack up. They're not involved in the consult styling process. They've got a completely different training module for our consult stylist. But as far as the install stylist goes, the whole process is them. So others, though, it's just the structure's different across.
So it's a lot of work.
Yeah, that too.
But if they really should be creating their own.
Otherwise, it's not you.
Yeah.
And you're just going to teach what I teach.
Yeah.
Which is different.
Sure.
Which is why we're different.
Same question. Same person asking it from Inner Spirit.
Wait, is that allowed?
Two questions. You know, week one we'll allow it. I would love to know how you decide on writing off stock.
Well, there's some simple answers to that. If it's damaged, if it gets to a point where it's just not something that you being Phoebe, you're doing your selections, you're not happy to use it anymore. Like the guide is often, it's been sitting on the shelf for so long, you're like, it gets to a point where you go, you know what, I'm not going to use that anymore.
That can now go up to the staff's tea room.
Yeah, like the chairs, literally the chairs we're sitting at the table in front of us is stuff that we just got to a point where you're just never going to use it again.
Yeah.
In terms of, that's the easy answer. The harder one is probably trends and,
so to be honest, we don't write it off. Really, with that, what happens is those the chairs that I bought when they were on trend and they were the feature highlight pieces that would go in the living room, they sort of now cycle down to be into the master bedroom, and then there'll be bedrooms and like the chairs in the double bedrooms, and then they become a piece that is more of a space filler that we don't necessarily charge for, because otherwise it's just taking space up on the shelf up here. So it's kind of cycled down, and that happens with all of our artwork, everything like that. Artwork, I would say, gets cycled out the highest out of everything else. Like we tend to throw more artwork into the bin than anything else. Artwork's really incredibly hard to sell, so we just don't even bother.
We don't
can't
bother
even
anymore,
with
yeah.
it. It just literally goes in the bin.
Yep.
And that's because they are not made to go in and out of houses as much as they do, and the frames get wonky.
We're also a new enough business in a sense, like 5 years is
5 years.
enough that maybe some trends would have come and gone, but we've been growing the whole time. So
COVID changed that.
we've never really had a point where we've had too much in the warehouse that, like you see warehouse sales where people sell stuff so that they can get in some new stuff. Like we've never gotten to the point where we have stuff available to sell. We're just using it at all times, right?
Yeah.
Life at the Tailors asks, when first starting out in the staging business, how big was your inventory?
0.
So we started off with hiring everything.
Well,
pretty quickly
so we were
decided.
in our garage, right?
Yeah, we're in the garage. So then we bought anything that could fit in the car.
Yeah, so that was kind of the first, because hiring a lot of the accessories and artwork and linen was going to add up quite a bit in the
20
cost.
pieces, and it was like $150 per week to hire.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous.
So we decided very quickly we would just own anything that would fit in a car or be
Yeah.
able to be transported in a car, and that just went in our garage on Bunnings shelves basically.
So accessories and...
Yep.
Yeah, so even smaller art, I think, for a
Smaller,
little while.
yeah. So the artwork and the accessories were the pieces that were kept in our
Yeah.
garage, the greenery, the trees, all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff.
But so when we actually started in the first handful of jobs, that's all we needed because we hired everything else. And we just grew from there. So we started, I don't even know exactly what the timing was. Eventually we started buying, we realised that we were going to have to own our own inventory eventually.
Yeah.
So we started buying the smaller things that again could be transported in a car, so like bedside tables.
But that meant that we had this transition phase where our logistics team were having to pick up a collection from our supplier and then come out to our storage shed as well as the supplier to collect both lots and then go to the installation. Obviously, the same thing had to happen at the pack up. So obviously that did include increase our logistics for a little bit
Cost,
there.
yeah. That was probably a good couple of years where we were doing a bit of both.
Yep.
But it allowed us to never say no to a job based on lack of furniture.
Yep.
So, yeah, the short answer is we had none and we just built it as we grew.
Yeah. Perth Stage Sell here with a second question, Jake. Is that okay?
Oh, this is the last one though.
What are your favourite suppliers? Now, they're obviously in WA, so...
Yeah, I
have
think
to
we should
head
do an
that way.
episode on this, Cody, because
Okay.
I've just done a huge, big purchasing
Spree.
like crazy spree.
Yep.
And we've got so much new stock, and I have found new suppliers
Okay.
that I haven't mentioned on any of our podcasts. Or
Oh my
and-
goodness.
This is an exclusive.
podcast. I know,
You've got to
right?
give them something.
Well, my favourite new one, and I'm literally going to press go on an order today when you give me the okay, Darcy and Duke. They have some really quality contemporary pieces that are different to anything I've seen. I love the fabrics that they've got. So they're my favourite at the
Should
moment.
put an asterisk on that because we've never ordered from them, so wait and see the quality.
Yeah.
But
Oh no, the quality will be there. Let me wait on the service.
yeah.
Because so for example, here's a really good one. MRD, they've just announced, well, no, just about a month ago announced that they're closing down. So I can say what I'm about to say. They were shocking. I do their order at the start of my spending spree every year, and every single time it'd take 4 months to get to me. And they'd have excuses as to why it was going to take 4 months. In the end, I just refused to order from them because I'm not waiting 4 to 5 months for a product that then would arrive and be broken. So yeah, they're just shocking. So I hold Darcy and Duke until
rattle a couple of good ones off for them.
all right, so always the same ones that I'll use are Canvas and Sasson, Madras Link. I do tend to use a lot of the ones just off Temple & Webster, so I can get them delivered really, really quickly. The Rug Collection and Unitex are no-brainers for me. Oz Design, when they've got the 25% off. As a standard, we get that off anyway. Then you've... Robert Mark, which we use because they're very just around the corner from us as well. Then you've got all your bedding suppliers, so Edie Lifestyle and Paloma Living. Literally get my bedding to me within 24 hours from Newcastle. It's awesome. Then Banditti Design, also based on the Gold Coast. Adairs haven't been so great with their service of late. Actually, have been shocking. Pillow Talk and Target for my inserts. So that they would be my standard go-to. I've just done another Calibre furniture in order, but I need to. Their shipping's ridiculous. Like I'm paying $3,000 for shipping to get a couple of sofas up to us. Oh, UD, actually, I should mention UD Furniture. They do most of our sofas. So, and One World have come to the party this year. I'm really liking their stuff as well. There you go. That's a lot. That wasn't one or two.
All right, the last question here from Lux Property Styling in Cairns. How do all your lead stylists organise what they need for the install in the warehouse? Do they put stickers on each item or pull it out? I'm just wondering about items which are available and aren't available each day.
Sounds like a furniture question more than.
Well, I guess you could break it down into both.
Could be both, yeah.
Yeah, so furniture, Jake has his inventory list, so we always know what's available at any point in time.
We've done an episode on that on
so,
YouTube.
yeah, you can link it back to that.
But also you do this.
And so I do the selections of the furniture myself so that I know that we don't have the double ups. If the girls have any sort of styles that they want to go down the path, we do the selections in tandem, like the ones yesterday. I knew exactly the brief the girls wanted, and that's what I made happen for them. So we don't stick the stock. The boys need to get to know the names of all the stock we own, and we own a lot of stock, so they need to know the names of a lot of different pieces of furniture.
Yep.
And then we have loading bays for the girls to put everything else into. So there's the stuff that needs to go on the truck has their own loading bays. So that's the artwork and the linen and lamps, all that sort of thing. And then the girls, for all the accessory side of fluff things, have different loading bays, all correlated to be and all labelled and all.
And that stuff they just
very
select
clear.
it and get it off the shelf then and there, and they bucket it themselves. And
Nobody else can take it. It can't
so if it's on,
disappear.
basically, if it's on a shelf in terms of accessories, it's available.
Yes,
Yep.
free to raid.
We do also use Trello for a bit of a look-up tool
Yep.
of furniture too, so they can
For
search
names and
something.
Oh, yeah, that's
features,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on the list and they're not sure what it is. There is a way to find that out as well.
Yep.
So that's all the questions. Thanks for everyone
They're
who
good
submitted questions. You know what? I'll allow double up questions for week 2 as well.
We'll have a discussion.
For anyone who would like a question answered, please just let us know. For the final segment here, we have our under overrated. So number 1, just tell me if you think this as a whole, this topic is under or overrated, or magic tricks.
Underrated. Overrated.
I paused because I'm like, I think she meant something else then.
Okay. Yeah, no, overrated. Definitely overrated. And
Underrated. We just went to a magic show and it was great.
Yeah, then you go math.
Jake always ruining the
Jake,
surprise.
yeah, that's right. He goes, it's just
Underrated.
simplified math.
Cruise control.
Or,
I forget about it, so it's overrated.
I don't know, I'd say properly rated. I think it's great.
Now that you've
people
adjusted ours.
People already know it's great, so yeah.
That's
You know what? I love the cruise control in our new car because you can put it on and you have to brake. It'll brake.
Yeah, it's got
for
the
you,
automatic.
and then but you don't have to reset it every time.
Yep.
Yeah, Jake had to play with
I've
it
just-
because
yeah.
it's braked too far away, and he
Yeah,
was
it
unhappy.
does leave
Well, you
gap.
can
I
change it.
found there's a setting and now it's
Now
perfect.
you can right up there. Kmart.
Overrated.
Pain in the ass.
Oh, we just
Yeah,
got a
for
ping
what?
pong table from Kmart though.
We did get a
We
ping
did.
pong table.
Do you know what? I don't even know if this is a Kmart wide or just our local one, but now they've got all the checkouts in the middle of the store.
Yeah.
And there's literally every time I go, there's a huge lineup
When was the last time you went to Kmart?
Yeah, they've had
That's
that for
been
a
like
while.
for-
to get the ping
years.
pong table the other
Big
day.
W
yeah,
did
no,
that too. Target did that too.
No, I don't mean they did it recently, but I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
saying, like, I don't know if it's our store or it's
No, it's every
Kmart.
store.
Yeah, I actually find that really annoying. Anyway,
Breakfast.
Oh, underrated. Love it.
I like
My
brekkie.
favourite meal of the day.
I like brekkie, but I don't eat it, so I'm going to say overrated.
Okay. Podcasts,
Underrated.
Underrated.
especially this one.
You don't even sound convinced about that one.
I just tune him out. I'm really bad, but I really hope you consume this content very well.
That sounds like a you problem.
That is a me problem.
So that's it for this podcast. Thanks everybody for listening / watching. Now next week, if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to hit the topic, the main topic that is at the start of the episode on preparing for spring. So spring's coming up and it's usually the busiest time of the year in this industry. So what are we doing? How are we preparing? So are you guys happy to tackle that one next week?
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Excellent.
I'll bring Evie.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, if you have questions, probably the best place to let us know is by Instagram message, or I put a post up asking for questions each week on there. So leave them there. Until next week, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.